share them both with you. First, Alison Boshoff, who, remember, not having an affair.
At the young ages of 7 and 5, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet already have quite the refined palates. While most kids might turn their noses up at vegetables, Meghan Markle revealed her little ones eat this surprising green food. The Duchess of Sussex is set to appear on an episode of MasterChef Australia that was taped back in April and will air on July 26. Australian news network
Harry has met some new type of...
10 News shared a teaser clip from the episode in which Meghan revealed her kids, whom she shares with Prince Harry, eat Brussels sprouts. The moment came when the Suits alum unveiled a table of ingredients that the contestants would have to craft a dish from. "All right, so you have quite the bounty here," Meghan said. "I really wanted to do things that gives you something to play with. So you have, of course, some citrus, you have lemon, you have macadamia nuts, some beautiful local Australian...
After they've come out of it better, or you'll be on the...
honey, Brussels sprouts. My kids eat Brussels sprouts." The comment elicited a "that's impressive" from one of the other judges. Meghan looked chic while appearing on the show. She opted for a monochromatic black ensemble that included a satin button-up shirt, a pencil skirt with a center slit and sky-high stiletto heels. She wore glowy makeup and styled her dark brunette hair down in loose curls with a middle part. "There is a lot of pressure in this kitchen," she said in another clip. "I don't like to cook that way. I like to cook in a really relaxed fashion, so all I can say to the competitors was to just remember to have fun, to keep a sense of humor about it, and to cook from the heart." One of the judges showed Meghan around the kitchen, including the pantry where the Duchess spotted edible flowers. "Love that," she chirped upon seeing the florals. Any Meghan fan will know flower sprinkles, as she calls them, are a signature of her cooking and something she used often on her show, with Love Meghan. "Food and cooking to me is really a love language," Meghan sweetly explained. "I think it's such a great way to connect. It's something that can feel sentimental and meaningful, and it's how I show my nurturing and love for my friends, family, my kids." When Meghan Markle sat down and casually mentioned what her children eat for breakfast, nobody expected it to land the way it did. But in a matter of hours, that small, seemingly innocent detail about Archie and Lilibet's daily meals had sparked a conversation that cuts right to the heart of one of the most watched family separations in modern royal history. Because this was never really about food. It was about identity, about belonging, and about two children growing up on the other side of an ocean from the family whose surname they carry. To understand why something as simple as a meal choice generates this level of interest, you have to go back to the beginning. When Prince Harry and Meghan stepped
acrimony that was going on between their parents
back from their roles as senior working royals in January 2020, it wasn't just a career change. It was a seismic cultural rupture that divided public opinion on both sides of the Atlantic and left millions of people genuinely invested in what came next for the family they left behind in Montecito. Sources close to the couple have long indicated that the move was about more than security concerns or media pressure. It was, at its core, about building a life that felt authentic to them, raising children outside what Meghan has described as the constraints of royal protocol. Archie Harrison Mountbatten-Windsor was born in May 2019, and from the moment his birth was announced, the world wanted to know everything about him. His parents kept him remarkably private, which only intensified public curiosity. Lilibet Diana followed in June 2021, born in California, named in tribute to both her great-grandmother, the late Queen, and her grandmother, Princess Diana. These two children exist at a fascinating and complicated crossroads. They are Sussex children, California children, but they are also grandchildren of the King of England and great-grandchildren of one of the most beloved monarchs in history.
And as every father and parent...
Palace insiders have noted over the years that one of the quieter tensions within the royal family has always been the question of how Archie and Lilibet are being raised. What values are being instilled? What traditions are they keeping? And perhaps most telling of all, what do they know about the family they rarely see? These are the questions that hover in the background of every Sussex story, and they're why something as domestic as a food revelation catches fire so quickly. The moment came during one of Meghan's increasingly frequent public appearances and media engagements. In a candid, relaxed exchange, she spoke about her children's eating habits with the warmth and openness of any mother sharing a slice of her family life. According to accounts of the conversation, Meghan revealed that Archie and Lilibet have developed a genuine love for some perhaps unexpected foods, dishes that reflect the multicultural, health-conscious California lifestyle she and Harry have built in Montecito. She spoke about their enthusiasm for foods that many British parents wouldn't necessarily find on a typical family dinner table, dishes rooted in the wellness culture that Meghan has been publicly associated with for years. What made it interesting wasn't just what the children were eating. It was what the detail revealed about the deliberate choices being made in that household. Reports suggest Meghan has been quite intentional about exposing Archie and Lilibet to diverse flavors and food traditions from a young age, something she connects to her own mixed heritage and her belief in raising children with broad cultural awareness.
Are thrilled to soon be welcoming a daughter. It's a feeling.
There are also, according to sources familiar with the family's lifestyle in California, strong threads of environmental consciousness running through their approach to food. Organic, plant-forward, locally sourced, these aren't just menu choices, they're statements about how the Sussexes see themselves and how they want their children to see the world. This is where the tension starts to crystallize. Because in Britain, particularly within the corridors of royal tradition, food is never just food. The royal family's relationship with food has always been deeply symbolic. State banquets carry enormous diplomatic weight. The simple act of what a royal eats, where they eat it, and with whom is layered with meaning. There are stories of the late Queen's modest personal eating habits, of the King's long-standing commitment to organic farming on his Highgrove estate, of the carefully managed public image around what the Wales children eat, and how Kate has spoken about teaching her children to cook. In that context, Meghan's casual openness about Archie and Lilibet's meals reads as something more than a lifestyle anecdote. It reads as a counter-narrative. Palace observers have noted with interest the contrast between how the Sussex children's lives are discussed publicly and how the Cambridge, now Wales, children's lives are presented. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis are raised within the institution, their lives carefully curated and their public appearances managed with extraordinary precision. The snippets that emerge about their personalities, their
Set all of us up for successful
interests, their school days, come through official channels, through carefully considered quotes from William and Kate at formal engagements.
Not having an affair, but
The image is warm but controlled. With Meghan, the approach is almost its opposite. She offers intimacy and spontaneity, the feeling of being invited into a real home rather than a palace. And some observers in Britain have found that deeply compelling, while others have found it deeply unsettling. The turning point in how this food story landed came when British media picked it up and began running with it in earnest. What had been a warm human interest moment in one media context became, almost instantly, a flashpoint in the ongoing Sussex debate. Commentators began drawing comparisons, some sympathetic, some pointedly critical. Were Archie and Lilibet being raised in a way that honored their British heritage? Or were they being raised as Californian children first, royal descendants somewhere much further down the list? The detail about their food choices became a kind of Rorschach test. What you saw in it depended entirely on how you already felt about their parents. Sources indicate that within certain circles, there was genuine sentiment that Meghan's willingness to speak so freely about her children's daily lives represented a significant departure from how royal children are traditionally raised and presented. The institution has always operated on the principle that the mystery is part of the magic, that the less the public knows about the private lives of royal children, the more effectively those children can eventually step into their public roles. By contrast, Meghan's approach treats transparency as a form of connection, a way of building the kind of authentic public relationship she values over the more formal, distant model she left behind. The aftermath of this moment followed a now familiar pattern. British tabloids ran the story with a framing that emphasized the distance, cultural and otherwise, between the Sussex children and their royal cousins. Social media divided sharply along already entrenched lines. Meghan's supporters pointed to the warmth and normality of a mother simply talking about her kids. Her critics argued that every public statement she makes, however casual it appears, is strategically positioned. Palace sources, speaking as ever under conditions of strict anonymity, declined to comment directly, which itself says something about how the institution chooses to handle anything connected to the Sussexes. What this moment really illuminates is the profound ongoing question of what Archie and Lilibet's future actually looks like. They hold their royal titles, courtesy of a decision made when their grandfather became king. But they are being raised far from the institution those titles represent. They attend school in California. Their social world, their cultural reference points, their daily rhythms are entirely American. And yet there is a throne in the background of their story that simply will not go away. The food detail matters because it's a window into something larger. It shows us how Meghan is actively constructing an identity for her children that is rooted in the life she has chosen, not the one she left behind. Whether that's a brave and admirable thing or a loss of something irreplaceable depends on your perspective. But it's impossible to say it isn't deliberate. The question that lingers is this: what do Archie and Lilibet themselves understand about who they are? As they grow older, as they inevitably develop their own curiosity about the family whose name they carry and the country they were largely removed from, how will they reconcile the California world they know with the Windsor world they were born into? And when that reckoning comes, will the choices their parents made, including the choice to raise them the way they have, feel like a gift or a complication? That's not a question any of us can answer yet. But it's one that grows more pressing every year. And every small detail that emerges, even something as simple as what a 6-year-old boy and his little sister like to eat for dinner, gives us another piece of a portrait that the whole world is still trying to understand. If you've been following the Sussex story from the beginning, I'd love to know in the comments what you make of all of this. And if you're new here, there's plenty more to dig into. Stay with us.